the country back. I think it's interesting to try to take something back that was never yours to begin with. I think we need to remember that this country had people here before some other people who didn't look like us, quote unquote, discovered this country. If I go outside and try to discover somebody's cell phone, that's not my cell phone. Now I can try to change the history books and tell people that that was my cell phone, but that wasn't my cell phone. When we talk about the injustices that are occurring in Charlottesville, Virginia, we are often reminded of what America is truly like. This country professes freedom. This country professes to be for all people. But there's a small group of people who pull all the strings. There's a small group of people who pull all the strings. And we like to think we're free. Harriet Tubman said, I freed 500 slaves, and I could have freed 500 more if they knew they were enslaved. Could you imagine 1862, 1863, 1850, you got shackles on your neck and they lynching your mother and your father and you don't know you're no slave? Could you imagine them taking your son from Georgia and selling him way up to North Carolina and you don't know you're no slave? They told you you couldn't read and you couldn't write and you had people on the plantation. Well, Master know what's best for me. Well, Master wouldn't do nothing wrong to me. He done kept me here 40 years. He wouldn't do nothing wrong to me. That's where we living in 2017. That's how we're living in 2017. In 1867, we had a college named Howard University founded. 1867, we got Morehouse in Atlanta, Georgia. 1869, Claflin University in South Carolina. Because we knew that after we had our shacks, after we had our churches, when Big Mom and them had a place to read and write and a place to eat, without having to worry about it, we needed education. They knew something that our youth don't want to look at today. Education is the key. They knew they needed schools. So much so we said, we're not going to beg you, we're going to build our own schools. They went and they pulled their money together to build schools. Had bake sales in Charleston, South Carolina. Sold whatever little bit of clothes they could sell in Atlanta, Georgia to build their schools. They weren't the best schools, but they were enough for us to do what we had to do. Of course, you had people who didn't look like us come to those schools to help us learn because they didn't think we could learn. Which is ironic because the same people they were trying to say were slaves came from kings and queens, but that's another conversation. But they built schools. People who did not look like them were mad. Why were they mad? This country was founded on hard labor that was free. Could you imagine enslaving people for 400 or 500 years for free? You think it's one thing trying to get health care. Imagine no health care benefits. They could work till they die for free. That's what we're talking about, National Action Network. Free labor. So you take a people, because they didn't come over here by choice, you steal people by the millions. We're not talking about the hundreds, by the millions. Switch up, and I know we know this, I'm just going over it. Switch up the language of these people. In Africa, they didn't look at themselves as African. They said, you Igbo, I'm Ashanti. They made people breed with each other. Breed. We're talking like animalistic. Breed with each other. And they thought they could create super slaves. Super slave. Well, if we get the strongest man and the most intelligent woman who could pick 500 males and maybe we get some super slaves. That's what we're talking about. We wondering why men can't stay with their sisters today because they never knew how to stay with their sisters. Slavery messed that up. You mean to tell me now you're going to sell me around Charleston and Atlanta and Sumter, all these backward places and breed me with 50 different women every month? 50 different women every week? That's psychological. They brought their kids to see us get lynched and made our kids watch us get lynched. This is psychological. 2017, we talk about psychiatric problems. Everybody back then had a psychiatric problem. I'll argue that. All our ancestors had to see things that no man and woman should ever have to see. They saw people burn alive. Kids saw that. That's what's going to happen to you if you don't pick this cotton. What else were we going to do? What else were we going to do? As soon as somebody said revolution, somebody ratted them out because we knew we might we'd be able to sleep on the hay bed and get an extra piece of bread at night. Come on now. We're talking psychological. What we see in Charlottesville, Virginia isn't a surprise. And I'm surprised that people in New York think it's a surprise. Well, we never knew that America was like that. We didn't know that happened. That that doesn't happen everywhere. That's Charlottesville. This is everywhere. But people don't have to wear the robes no more. As Reverend Sharpton called it, we got a new Jim Crow. That new Jim Crow got on a suit and a tie. He giving you a scholarship to come to his school. That new Jim Crow is on your cell phones, telling you to do things like a hot water challenge. The kids thinking they're coming up with this stuff by themselves. They're not coming up with this stuff by themselves. The new Jim Crow is telling you what you should rap about, and giving you money to rap about this and not giving you money to rap about that. That's the new Jim Crow we're dealing with. We're not dealing with them lynching us no more. We're dealing with them trying to make a culture. When you take a people, it's hard to convince people who know who they are that they're not somebody. It's hard to convince people who know who they are that they are not somebody. You got to take generations for that. That just don't happen in a year. That's generational. When you go in the jungle and you take some lions out and put them around some teddy bears, they know that they're lions. Then when they have kids, their kids know that they're lions, because they tell them, boy, you a lion. You can act like a teddy bear, but know that you a lion. You could change the history textbooks and say, well, you ain't never been no lion, but they know they're a lion. Something in them knows that. When they hear the truth, something goes off and they think, well, maybe I might be as strong as I say I am. They know they can't hold us down, so they have to miseducate us. Yes. They have to miseducate us. We talking white supremacy. This is a rule of white supremacy. Miseducate the kids. Yes. Well, how we do that? Well, don't give them teachers who look like them. Please. Well, it's a lot of young boys in school. Well, give them a bunch of female teachers, because, you know, males don't need role models. You know, they don't need males in the classroom. Give them female teachers. Well, are these female teachers from Harlem? No, they can't be from Harlem, because if they're from Harlem, then they might try to help the kids. Bring them in from upstate Westchester. Bring them from Buffalo, where they don't really know about Harlem. They don't know about Harlem so much, they don't even want to call it Harlem. It makes them uncomfortable. Let's change it something. Let's make it so high. You know, something that we could say, because we don't want to say Harlem. Harlem, we think the Apollo Theater, Cab Calloway, James Brown. We don't want to call it Harlem no more. Let's miseducate these children. And if we can't miseducate them, then we got to come up with another plan, because it's not working. Because even though they don't got mom and dad at home, grandma stepped in and said she's going to take care of them. What do we do now? Well, he's not sitting down in class. I think he got a mental problem. I think he needs Ritalin, because he's not sitting down. I'm from Scarsdale. My kids know how to sit down. Your kids are too uppity and they jump up and down. We need to give them medicine to make them quiet. We talking white supremacy now. We're not talking anything new. We talking white supremacy. If this don't work, we got to try it this way. When that don't work, we got to try it that way. People are coming into our communities pointing at our buildings, saying what they going to do with our buildings. Our buildings. We talking where mom and them live 50, 60 years. Oh, well, we think that we need to gentrify and, you know, revitalize. It doesn't look good enough for us. And the teachers coming in don't like it. Charlottesville, Virginia. When we talk alt-right, when we talk neo-Nazi, they're trying to bring us back to a time where we used to get lynched. That's right. They want to bring us back to a time where we no longer can stand up for justice. They want to bring us back. You can't bring us back. This is 2017. These young kids not going to listen to you when you say don't drink from that water fountain no more. These young kids not going to listen to you when you say, boy, don't get on that part of the bus. They're not scared of you no more. They're not scared of their mothers and fathers. You know they're not scared of you. So what do? You got to get a couple of athletes to sit down. Come on, Cap. Because maybe if the basketball players don't say nothing, the kids not going to say nothing. Maybe if the football players don't act up, the kids not going to say nothing. Well, what if the football players do act up? Kick them out the NFL. Tell them they're not going to play if they talk like that. Come on, brother. Tell them they're not going to be able to be on our news if they talk like that. You can't be on our media if you get a little crazy. We don't like that rhetoric. You mean to tell me that in 1776, when America felt like they needed to fight for their freedom from Britain, we can celebrate that every 4th of July, but we can't celebrate black people trying to get their freedom? Are you serious? We talking Charlottesville. But we talking America. Charlottesville is in America. Chicago is in America. We're not talking overseas. We're talking right here. What's happening in Illinois? This was bred by America. We wondering why we killing each other. This was bred by America. Well, Dennis, you can't say that. These brothers, you know, they doing that because they want to do that. Really? Because they dropping out of school. Why they dropping out of school? Because they had 5 racist teachers in a row tell them they wasn't going to be nobody. Why they dropping out of school? Well, because, you know, daddy wasn't there. He was in jail. Why was he in jail? Because he was selling drugs trying to provide for his family. Why couldn't he provide for his family? Well, when he was in school, they told him to get a trade. And he didn't want no trade because the guidance counselor back in the 70s and 80s said, boy, I don't think you need to go to Morehouse, one of them black schools. You need to just become a carpenter. Why they take carpentry out the schools? Why they take plumbing out the schools? Because if you allow people to be self-sufficient, you can't control them. You need them to rely on you. You need them to rely on you. We talking miseducation. That's number one. We talking white supremacy and miseducation. What's the other thing? Economic castration. Economic castration. They gonna talk to you about this. Dr. Umar gonna talk to you about this. You go online, this is what they talking. Economic castration. What's that mean? That means I can't get no job. Oh, well, you know, if black people really wanted to support each other, then they'd help each other. How we gonna help each other when we don't have the means to give each other a job? How we gonna help each other when we don't give the money to the schools? Charlottesville is bigger than Charlottesville. They talking take our country back. Back to where? Take it back to where we going back to? I know we're not going back to segregation. I know